DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.
Welcome to the February 18th, 2025, Tuesday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox
Digest.
Happy Tuesday, everybody! Woo! NPC go wee! I'm back. My name is Christian Coffins, and I am the one you come to disable all of the ad blockers and skip through all of the ads and, add the cookies to, I do it for you. It's all tabbed out. It's all right here at the DarkDox Digest. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com/Sacred Owls. If you like this, cash that up /DarkDox. We're working on the websites. I got bigger fish to fry. But we take 10 hours of band.video a day and the DarkDox Network on Signals. Amazing intel and amazing people that are in our chats, like Mountain Violet and Greg Fernandez Jr. and Debo and Holistic Empire, and give it up to Data Battle Z for doing these intros because he has the best announcer voice, doesn't he? Yes, he does. And I want to get right into the reason for the NPC, which is old, but it's back, is because of this New York Times piece that they played a little bit of on the American Journal. I'm going to play the whole damn thing because I haven't even seen the whole thing, and it's just absurd. So here we go.
A few years back, the online right became enamored of a new epithet for liberals. NPC. Short for
non-player character?
Non-playable character.
Non-player character.
What, you don't know about this? Do I get to tell you the NPC meme?
Yes.
This is the most important meme of our lifetime.
The term was lifted from video games, where an NPC refers to the computer-controlled characters that populate the game while you, the live player, make actual decisions. NPCs don't have minds of their own. They don't have agency. They're automatons. You might have seen these memes, featureless gray faces sometimes surrounded by liberal icons. Elon Musk loved posting them. Liberals in this story thought what they were allowed to think, said what they were allowed to say.
And once you identify it, it's like the Matrix. Like you see Agent Smith everywhere.
Believe all women. Refugees welcome.
I anticipate that's going to be the new NPC download.
Orange them now. Diversity our strength.
Like any good insult, the NPC meme served a dual purpose. It contains a kernel of truth about its target. We liberals can be conformist. We can be too afraid to offend. We can be overly deferential to institutions. We can be cowed by the in-group policing that we inflict on ourselves.
We can be cussed.
And a little quick to take up whatever the cause of the moment is. But the real purpose of the NPC insult was self-congratulation. The right was full of live players. You could see it in their willingness to offend.
What is a woman? Can you tell me that?
I'll say
that
what
shouldn't
I
be
want to say,
offensive.
and if the consequence of that is losing money, so be it.
Their mistrust of institutions.
Are you a conspiracy theorist?
That is a pejorative, Senator, that's applied to me, mainly to keep me from asking difficult questions of powerful interests.
I'll say it again. Do your own research.
Their eagerness to debate what liberals would not even say out loud.
It depends on what you mean by equality.
Just shut up and obey. I just reject that completely.
This became part of the Trumpist right's self-definition. They were the nonconformists.
We are now the party of freedom and the party of speech.
The coalition that wasn't made of automatons.
In fact, we are just the party.
And that's what America needed. Live players. And here we are in 2025, and at this point I'm willing to concede at least half the argument. American politics does have an NPC problem, possibly a lethal one, but it's not on the left.
What?
I can make a generous case for a lot of what the Trump administration is on some level trying to do, or at least saying they're trying to do. Government is too gummed up by process and protocol. It is too hard to hire and fire in the civil service. Even if I agree with the goals of many DEI programs, and I do, many of them don't achieve those goals. Some of them make the problems they seek to fix worse. There hasn't been rigor at looking at which is which and getting rid of the bad ones. There is actually a good argument for auditing USAID. We probably should convert more of what that agency spends to cash grants and direct public health support.
This is so
and yes,
weird.
How the government manages software procurement and builds and maintains digital services is hopelessly cumbersome. I was saying all this before the election too. All of it is well known, including among liberals.
Yeah.
Many liberals have spent a lot of time trying to think about how to fix these problems. And so it is a genuine failure of Democrats that they did not put more energy into making the government faster and better and more responsive when they were in charge.
You know who's good at it?
How the hell did the Biden administration pass $42 billion for broadband in 2021?
Let us agree. In the 21st century in America, high-speed internet is not a luxury, it is a necessity.
And have basically nothing to show for it by November of 2024.
That is a Wawa station back there behind me. They recently got $733,000 to build an EV charging station. Unfortunately, all you see right now are gas pumps, though.
How did they get $7.5 billion for electric vehicle chargers, but only build a few hundred of them by the end of their term?
It seems that everything is going a little slower than anybody thought.
Why is it all so slow? Democrats became champions of a government that often didn't work. And that's part of the reason Trump won. Not the only reason, not the biggest reason. It's not as important as the price of eggs. But when people feel the government isn't working, the party promising change beats a party rallying in defense. When Elon Musk says that the election gave Republicans a mandate for reform, he's not totally wrong.
You couldn't ask for a stronger mandate from the public. To have a majority of the public voting for President Trump. We won the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that.
But look at how Musk justifies that mandate. The proof is that Republicans control the House and the Senate. So why not write some bills? Sure, Republican majorities are narrow, but bipartisanship
so you can slow
here,
it
wasn't out of
down
the
and
question.
fight it every step
Democrats
of the way
were
and then say
defeated
that
and
you
ready to
came
deal.
up with it. Fuck
Their
you.
own voters wanted them to deal.
No way.
A January poll by CBS and YouGov found that 54% of Democrats wanted their congressional representatives to work with the Trump administration. 1 month later, February, and now 65% want all-out opposition. That is a lot of political capital the Trump administration burnt in just 1 month. And for what? I've covered Washington for decades now. There's gray in this beard. If this was about policy, Trump and his team would have gone through Congress. They could have crafted much larger reforms using a wider set of powers, and they wouldn't be facing down the courts in the way they are now. But what they wanted wasn't policy. They didn't want to go line by line through USAID and figure out what worked and what didn't. They didn't want to think through new civil service regulations, balancing ethics and independence and responsiveness. What they wanted was power. What Donald Trump wanted.
This like subtle oboe music in the background is like such a tell. I mean, it's sneaky. It's definitely, you know, I would categorize this like a, you know, a little bit of subtle neuro-linguistic programming. Where like first of all, it's like literally repetitive and like lulling you into a stupor, but also it gives this like touch of elegance, and like it's like something you would play like in a Mercedes-Benz dealership. Welcome, or like a not even like a welcome to Rolls Royce. Do. Yeah, it's like that. That's why we don't do music beds. I did a little bit for like Halloween because like we needed to cover. You know, they were dancing to something and it was copyrighted music. But other than that, like if I'm trying to talk to you, I'm not gonna like church it up with like music beds and it's also better for clipping and stuff. So, you know, if you take away the music and the ambiance of like this guy's performance here, you'll see, I mean, he's talking nonsense. But yeah, let's continue.
Was power. And so they're trying to remake our system of government, not our laws. And they've identified a weak point in the system. And now they're trying to drive a flaming Cybertruck through it. That weak point is Congress. And the reason the Trump administration might succeed in taking Congress's power is that they have turned congressional Republicans into NPCs. The vulnerability in the system here goes way back. In Federalist 51, James Madison set out the challenge he and his colleagues faced in writing the Constitution. He said, "In framing a government, which is to be administered by men over men, the great difficulty lies in this. You must first enable the government to control the governed, and in the next place oblige it to control itself." So how does a government control itself? The founders' idea was that it controls itself through internal competition between independent branches, each of which wants to protect its own power. Ambition must be made to counteract ambition, Madison wrote. But one branch was unquestionably designed to be stronger than the others. Congress controls the money. Congress can overturn presidential vetoes. Congress can impeach federal judges, cabinet officers, and the president. Why was Congress made so strong? Because Congress reflects the second, and in some ways the more important and enduring form of fracture the founders imagined. Our political system was designed to fracture power by place. Senators are elected by states. The House is sliced up into geographically bound districts. That ultimately is what members of Congress are supposed to represent, the particular needs of a particular group of voters in a particular place. And so power would be fractured. It can never nationalize into just one force. The framers of the Constitution got a lot right, but they got a lot wrong. And one of the big things they got wrong was visible almost immediately. The founders imagined a political system free of political parties. But for much of American history, their second assumption held. Geography kept...
Fun fact, the first third party was the anti-Masonic Party.
American politics fractured. It kept power fractured because it kept America's political parties fractured. Yes, we've had Republicans and Democrats for a long time. But in the 20th century, that two-party system was really a four-party system. The Democrats were split between the liberals we know today and the Southern Dixiecrats, a sort of internal party whose primary goal was upholding segregation.
Yeah, no, you guys were the
Republicans
same.
were split between conservatives as we know them today
and the
northern
parties
liberals.
didn't flip either.
It is astonishing from our vantage point to really wrap your mind around this.
There was four
But it's
parties.
true for much of the 20th century. To say you were a Republican or a Democrat didn't reveal whether you were a liberal or a conservative. In 1973, Senator Joe Biden opposed the Roe v. Wade decision. Around that same time, President Richard Nixon proposed a universal health care bill and created the Environmental Protection Agency.
The time has come for man to make his peace with nature.
Politics was different then. The parties were different then. Because parties that contained so many different places and ideologies could not act in lockstep. And so bipartisanship was common.
There's warm applause from members of both parties as the president sets to work.
The Civil Rights Act of 1964, yes, it was pushed by a Democratic president, but congressional Republicans were crucial to its passage.
Souvenirs go to Republican leader Everett Dirksen and Democratic whip Hubert Humphrey.
Wow, I'm surprised
when
he
Nixon was
dredged that
refusing
one
to
up.
spend money that Congress had appropriated, a policy known as impoundment, Congress acted to protect its power. Republicans and Democrats alike. The Congressional Budget and Impoundment Control Act of 1974 passed the House with only 6 no votes, only 6. It passed the Senate without a single vote in opposition. When Watergate began coming to light.
Good evening. I want to talk to you tonight from my heart.
It was ultimately a delegation of congressional Republicans that persuaded Nixon to resign.
Senator Scott and I have just concluded a visit with the president. He invited us down this afternoon to disclose to him what we feel the actual conditions in the House and the Senate are relative to his situation.
But that was then. Here in 2025, President Trump is impounding money that Congress has appropriated in clear defiance of that impoundment bill that passed nearly unanimously. He's trying to erase agencies that Congress created. And while the courts are standing in his way...
Fantastic screenshot. Everyone screen capture this. And don't do anything weird with it. Fantastic. The reason why I paused is, when are they going to get to the NPC part? I guess they played towards the end of it. This is interesting. All right. I'll continue.
Congress is doing nothing while Trump takes away their power.
The reason USAID is going to cease to exist as it did before is because it should.
At the end of the day, though, he's got to freeze everything in order to get his arms around it. Just give him a little time.
We don't see this as a threat to Article 1 at all. We see this as an active, engaged, committed executive branch authority doing what the executive branch should do.
It's astonishing. Republicans in Congress could demand that Trump cut them in. They won this election too. This is their job. It is their job to write these bills. Agreeing with Trump's policy aims need not mean agreeing with his power grab. The most powerful branch of government, the branch with the power to check the others, is supine. It is not that it can't act to protect its power. It's that it will not act to protect its power. This is a non-player Congress. What we are seeing is a collapse of the constitutional structure and the nationalization of the two parties. If Democrats controlled Congress right now, yeah, Congress would be a check on Donald Trump. Since Republicans control it, it is not. What matters is which party controls it and how that party acts. It is parties that now compete with each other, not branches. Parties are institutions. They can be more or less responsible. They can themselves be a check on abuses, even on their own side. I already talked about how Republicans were a check on Nixon. In 2005, President George W. Bush nominated his White House counsel, Harriet Miers, to the Supreme Court.
I asked the Senate to review her qualifications thoroughly and fairly and to vote on her nomination promptly.
And she had to withdraw because the Republican-controlled Senate found her unqualified and ideologically unreliable. The fact that Bush wanted her on the court, that wasn't enough. Congressional Republicans had their own views. In 2009, President Barack Obama nominated Tom Daschle to lead the Department of Health and Human Services.
Tom Daschle is one of America's foremost healthcare experts.
Only to see Daschle withdraw. Daschle, who was a former majority leader of the U.S. Senate, was found to owe back taxes. And he thought his own nomination might fail to make it through a Senate filled with his former colleagues. But this Republican Party is no check on Trump. That's been the message of Trump's nominations. RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, Kash Patel, Pete Hegseth. These were tests. Senate Republicans know these nominees are unqualified. You could see it in the hearings.
Oh, come on.
Again, let's make it very clear for everyone here today. As Secretary of Defense, will you support women continuing to have the opportunity to serve in combat roles?
As the leader of the intelligence community,
okay, you're gonna let him answer?
how would you think you would be received based on some of these past actions to support or even to pardon Edward Snowden?
I'm a doc. Convince me that you will become the public health advocate.
Are you going to let him answer?
But not just churn old information so that there's never a conclusion.
Senate Republicans don't want to vote for these nominees. Not one of them got into politics to confirm Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who ran for president in 2023, 2 years ago, as a pro-choice Democrat, as Secretary of Health and Human Services. But Trump knows what he's doing. You force people into submission early, and soon it becomes a habit. Congressional Republicans have their reasons for bowing to him. Washington is aflame with talk of the primary challenges that Elon Musk will fund against any Republican who makes trouble for Trump. All of them fear that Trump will personally weigh in against them in a primary. What an unbelievably strange life. To rise as far as they have in politics, to wield as much power as they could, and to be as afraid as they are. The NPC critique got something right. There are real dangers to conformity. Political parties, even presidential administrations, are stronger when they can hear contrary voices. Musk using his billions to scare congressional Republicans into supporting everything Trump does. Yeah, it makes Trump look stronger now. It might make him and the country a whole lot weaker later if those same nominees fail and he is blamed for the disaster. Or if the Treasury payment system breaks and he is blamed for the chaos. In the short term, having unanimity makes you look strong. In the long term, success is what makes you strong. It would be good right now. Good for their party, good for the country. If Republicans displayed the values they once claimed to prize, a willingness to offend their own side, a mistrust of institutional authority, an eagerness to debate the questions that those in power do not wish to see debated. But we are seeing none of that. This is the NPC problem we actually face. A non-player Congress driven by Republicans who serve Trump's ambitions first. Congressional Republicans who have gone quiet. We are left relying on the courts, and yeah, that may work. But this is not the system working. It's the system failing.
Solemn music. Yeah, so I went crazy on Know Your Meme and got some fun new additions to the show. We have the Re when they're angry. We have the Soy Jack when they're being like, look. And then you got the, whoa, no Re, get back down, Soy Jack. You got the smug one. I like the smug one because they're like, it's like the Orange Man Bad, am I right? But yeah, link in the description if you see, you have to remember, not everyone is chronically online. Like some people have no idea what NPC, non-player character, Wojak, Soy Jack, Reddit moderator, like the lore is hilarious. But yeah, so if you don't know about these things, there's a link to this one's really fun. Right-wing conspiracy theories. The Jews are controlling the world with the Freemasons and demon aliens. The earth is flat and NASA works for the deep state with George Soros and manufactured by China to cull the humans and serve workers and cults with Jeff Epstein and didn't kill himself, but it's okay because it's teaming up with JFK's ghost. Where we one, we all go. Trust the plan. No, we have to burn our mask. COVID is fake. I like the one with the exclamation, like they're typing so frantically. I mean, from a anthropological standpoint, I just love stuff like this. We have way too much time on our hands, that's for sure. But what's really funny is that when you click on the Soy Jack, it's just one click away from this one, which is really funny. The internet's a crazy fucking place, man. So yeah, that's my analysis on NPCs and non-player characters. They don't have an internal monologue, it's crazy stuff. Let's see some of these NPCs in action. Liberal mutants and leftist dirtbags have a complete psychotic break over Trump and Musk outside the Texas Capitol. Owen Schroyer was on the scene and taking the abuse, and God bless him for it.
You want to see what it's like to deal with discrimination and hate? Be a conservative at a liberal event. You. That's crazy. You can look for this on X, Elon Musk platform.
I quit X when that prick bought it because it's like a Nazi platform.
Yes,
now.
It's a Nazi platform?
Yeah, it certainly is. You should check it out.
Let go of the mic.
You can't keep your hands to yourself. I call the cops.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, Infowars tells you the truth about what's happening next.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's President's Day in Austin, Texas, and we're here at the Texas Capitol in downtown Austin. Owen Schroyer with Infowars.com, and You know, it's been a minute since we've been out to one of these leftist protests. Let me fill you in. It's the National Protest Call to Action. Oh, no King's Day. No King's Day, President's Day, this 17th of February 2025. It is noon
There's
right
that 50
now at the Texas State Capitol.
150.
And 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. Nos levantamos juntos. We rise together. And so this is their big protest for President's Day. They're rejecting the election of President Trump. It's some of the same stuff we saw in 2017. And I got to tell you, these protesters are evolving. It's not just your typical blue hair, funny looking. They've got apparel now. And it seems that the communists have professional apparel that somebody is selling. Now, they're already
brought to you by USAID.
Wound up about 100 yards behind me. So let's see how long it takes for this crowd of liberals to become completely unhinged when we ask them basic questions. We got a sign over here. In the name of humanity, we refuse to accept a fascist America. Do you believe you're in a fascist America? What is fascist about America?
Ask her.
I'm an independent journalist.
We say humanity.
Independent of... I haven't even said anything. I've asked you a basic question.
We say humanity first.
So how do you feel about abortion then?
I reject your question.
What about chopping
Look
up
at that
little
commie
birds and girls'
hat.
private parts? How do you feel about that?
I especially reject your question.
We're not talking to them. We're not talking to you.
I know you're not. You can't talk to anybody about your movement.
Cult members.
Can't answer a
Don't
basic
talk to
question.
him.
So let's go right down the line. I bet I go 0 for 3 here. Why is America fascist?
I reject your question.
0 for 1. 0 for 1. How is America fascist?
Humanity first.
Is that a WNBA hat? Are you a WNBA fan?
Humanity first.
No?
Nobody's a WNBA.
I try to get a bonus out of them. Very intimidating stuff here. Is this a gay pride event?
It's a humanity event.
A humanity event. Yeah. Who doesn't have rights?
Who doesn't?
Yeah.
I don't as a woman, as
you
a minority.
Don't? What rights don't you have?
I don't have the right to kill a person that I'm growing inside my body.
That's true. You don't have the right to kill a person. That's true.
What rights don't you have?
I have the exact same rights you have.
No, you have more.
Well,
You know why you think you have more?
No, I don't think I have more. You think I have more.
Oh, no. You have more.
So explain that.
Explain history to you? Your founding fathers?
What year is it?
Exactly. It's 2025.
We still haven't broken
and we're not doing it anymore.
Curses? What curses? Am I cursed?
That the white men have put on us.
The white man put
You
a curse
better
on
open
you?
your mouth when I spit at you.
You don't exist. Your existence is based on genocide. That's why you're here trying to find answers because you have no culture. And so
I do like your shirt though, that angry cat
Really?
at the dinner
can I get a
table.
mushroom to wear on my
It's one of
head?
my favorite. I need to bring him into
Absolutely.
the
You know
show.
where I got it from? One of your corporations.
I'm guessing, so that's white culture then?
No, mushrooms are fungus and they belong to the Native American.
But you said you got it from my corporation. I don't know what corporation you're talking about. Are you sure that's not a Mario head invented by a Japanese company?
It represents Luigi who killed the CEO.
You know what?
Okay.
They also...
Oh, you like murderers?
I love it. The Japanese are much better culture than white people.
Yeah, that's funny because they don't take any immigrants. Did you know that? It's one of the most homogeneous cultures on earth. Did you know that?
Japanese empire is a thing to be studied.
All right. Wow. You are really you know what, I'll give you credit.
Homogeneous?
At least you'll talk.
Isn't it
I'm getting
homogeneous?
emotional.
Yeah.
So you can't answer the simple question. What rights do I have that you don't?
As a man in white America.
You don't have to worry about things we have to worry about.
So go ahead. How many times do I have to ask?
CEOs are not your bros.
So can you. You're out here wearing a mushroom head.
And I can't wear a mushroom
She took time to make
That's my point.
You know?
You can stroll. No, the point is you can do anything I can do. You guys have a wonderful day. You want to be on TV?
Yeah.
What are you doing out here?
What are you doing here?
Protest?
Why? Read your shirt.
Aww.
Girls just want to have fundamental rights, and this administration is taking away my children's rights.
What rights are being
No,
taken
they're
away?
not. They went back to the state.
Access to basic health care for women.
Like what? What basic health care?
Abortion, obviously.
You think that's basic health care?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
You think killing a baby is health care?
It's not killing a baby, honey. It's
Diddly.
taking care of your body in the way that you choose to.
How many hearts does a human being have?
One.
One, right. So how many hearts does a woman have with a baby inside of her? 2.
One.
Yep.
2. You have a heartbeat. You have a heartbeat after 2 months. Heartbeat after 2 months. I've been to so many of these events, I've not met one of you that can hold a conversation. So what are you doing out here?
All right.
I'm coming to protest the illegal takeover of the U.S. government.
It's wild. I've met like 8 of this guy in my life.
First off, we
it's
have
such a
him,
archetype.
Trump letting Elon Musk actually dissolve entire U.S. departments that were mandated by Congress and put into law.
What department has been dissolved?
Well, let's see. They're going into USAID. That got pulled out.
Yeah, so all the fraud and the waste?
None discovered.
None discovered. So shrimp on treadmills, gay performances, trans performances in South America,
Liar. Bye.
You care so much about rapists coming over the border, but what about the one that's currently in the White House who's been convicted?
Why does she have a face like a slapped ass?
Really?
Yeah.
What about his admissions of grab her by the pussy?
So that's not what he said. He said when you're famous, women let you grab them by the pussy. That's what he actually said.
Yep.
So, just generally, in what world do you think that's okay for someone in the public eye to say?
I wouldn't waste your time on him. He's gonna edit your shit.
Yeah,
so it looks like
This is all being filmed live. So.
Lovely.
So what are you doing here?
I'm here to tell you to get away.
But what are you actually doing here? You didn't know I would be here. So what are you actually doing here?
Protest against Trump.
Why don't you like Trump?
This guy's sign is upside down.
He's kicking people
in the
out of our
background.
country who deserve to be here.
What does that mean? Deserve to be here?
Oh man.
They get to be here because
Classic.
they're citizens. He's trying to.
They're not. They're literally not citizens. Not a single
That guy's
citizen
an
has
alien.
been kicked out.
He's like not even a
Well,
human
he's trying.
being.
Clock it. No, you didn't know clock it.
Hello,
You know,
fellow human
You guys
beings.
haven't answered a single question.
No, you haven't answered a question too.
All right, go ahead and ask me a question.
So what rights do you? What rights do we not have that you have?
None.
No, you can't kill somebody in your stomach.
Then they start blocking
I
the
believe
camera.
abortion is murder.
So then they have to
Why so?
maneuver around.
Because there's a beating
Look with
heart.
a blanket.
So what?
You don't know what it's like to be pregnant.
And the signs are like, oh, you can't see this.
All you do is like 30 seconds
See,
to bust
the left
actually,
is the
less than 1% of abortions are for
the
rape.
group that wants censorship.
What are you doing? All right, buddy. Can you leave my cameraman
They
alone?
want to silence the First Amendment
You're
because they're
clearly a
fascists.
deranged person. Can you just leave him alone? All right.
Should not even be here.
I like immigrants. Oh, that's very un-immigrant of you. I shouldn't even be here? That's kind of racist too, don't you think?
No, it's not racist. It's you as a person, not as a color, not as a
So
gender.
you do understand there's a difference between an immigrant and an illegal alien, right? Do you understand that?
Them illegal aliens. I call them undocumented.
So you disagree with the law?
No, I don't disagree with the law. This is a land of immigrants. We have.
Okay, again, you know an immigrant is a legal citizen. You do understand that, right?
Yeah, my people didn't cross any borders. Yours did.
Really? When did my people come?
I have no idea, but
So you have no idea, but she seems to know everything. Who is it?
Are you with Dictator Douchebag?
Who's that?
You know who that is. You know exactly who it is.
Am I with Dictator Douchebag?
Yeah, are you?
Who's that?
You know who
I'm here with my cameraman.
You know who
Like,
that is.
why? Yeah, they always
Mr.
ask these
SS.
roundabout questions.
Because they certainly were not born
I see
here.
your brown shirt. You don't fool me. And your little Nazi haircut.
Hey, where did you get
Oh,
that
God.
wonderful hat?
A haircut can be Nazi now?
Oh, I got it at the Women's March back in Washington D.C. because look, man, this is work, okay? This is
Wow.
a full-time job. I'm not like some armchair quarterback, like some resistance.
This guy's
lib that just
checking
tweets
all the
and platitudes
boxes.
for no reason. No, I'm doing the work, and I'm going to these protests, and I'm making my voice heard, and that's where I got this inclusive hat.
They're just gonna cut you and edit you into.
He can't
Yeah,
breathe
I
because of
really,
that
my whole
mask.
goal out here
He's
is to make you look
hyperventilating.
stupid.
He's gonna pass out. Poor
I just
kid.
want to make you look stupid.
Isolate them and don't let them learn.
We're not going to let the Nazis in, but
I
that's
feel
what we gotta
bad for
make our
him.
voice
I hope I hope he's trolling or he wakes up from this.
What's wrong with me? You know that's a friend of mine. He's trolling you. That's my friend.
You don't have any friends, dude.
That's funny, isn't it? Yeah, keep filming this crazy.
Yeah, with the bells, that's so irritating.
The only thing I want is, there's room for everybody. We need all
I
voices.
agree.
No, really.
There should be room for everybody.
We should not engage this.
Oh, like a Nazi, you mean? Yeah. What's up, man?
Really.
What are you doing here?
It probably is best to ignore him.
They can't ignore me. Ooh. Yes.
Is this thing even real? This thing isn't real.
Don't touch my mic. Don't touch my. Let go of the mic, sir. Let go of the mic. Oh!
That guy needs to get arrested. That was assault and battery.
Come on, you can do better than that. Come on. Come on.
And he calls him a fascist when he tries to like block his
What's up, brother?
attack.
It's good to see you, man. How are you doing?
So this is the guy, if you guys don't know, that got me into all of this. If it wasn't for him, you would not see my content.
That's bold with that flamingo pink
What
suit.
rights is Trump denying you?
Bold move, man.
Oh, well, let me talk about my uterus first. I don't have access to appropriate medical care.
So you're talking about abortion. Let's
If
just say
guys
what
had
it is. It's
uteruses,
abortion.
it'd be
So what
called
right is
uteruses.
abortion? Where do you have a right to abortion?
Whoa.
Talk to this guy. It's Alex Jones. He just
Did your mother have any
Yeah, I
kids?
can smell that guy from here.
Jones is the one that said that those kids who died would not
So you
have
should
here
have
we
your
go.
abortion, huh?
Where do you publish? I publish all over the place. All over the internet. Where can we look for this? You can look for this on X, Elon Musk platform. I'm sure you have an X account.
I don't look at X.
Man, Jim Brewer's looking rough.
Because it's like a Nazi platform now.
It's a Nazi platform?
Yeah, it certainly is. You should check it out.
I don't know what that. I don't know how it's a Nazi platform.
I'll tell you how. Oh, you haven't? Have you not been on there?
I'm on there all the time.
He looks like a stray
You must
dog.
not pay close
Jim Brewer,
What
man.
makes it
Am I
Nazi?
right? Holy shit.
Read it, friend.
I do read. I read it for news. I just get news there. Like I knew this protest was going to be here.
Only place you get news?
No, I get news from everywhere actually.
Tell us where else.
Very right.
I mean, literally everywhere. Fox, CNN, MSNBC.
New. Have you not been doing
I'm new.
I love his
I've
shitty
not been doing this very long. No.
horns
So
and helmet.
inform me.
Just the fact that you don't realize
Can't afford a
that,
spray paint, bro.
X is a pro-Nazi platform and right-wing.
So how is it pro-Nazi?
Read it. Read it.
Well, you keep saying read it.
See,
but what
they
does that
never have
mean?
to answer anything because they just laugh at you.
Elon Musk is a Nazi.
You know
act all
Elon Musk
smug.
has like 5 Jewish children.
Great.
So how is he a Nazi with Jewish children?
You gotta do your homework.
He knows. What homework? What have I not known?
He doesn't. What do you not know?
He doesn't care about who?
His children, his Jewish children. He doesn't care about them.
He doesn't care about them. He just takes care of them and hangs out with them and sees them.
He doesn't even hang out with them. You know, half of them.
He doesn't even hang out with him. He hasn't seen all the footage
He also
of
has a trans
Elon with
daughter.
his
So when did you
kid
start hating Elon Musk?
He has
in
a
the White
trans
House,
daughter he doesn't recognize.
He got into the
picking his
treasury
nose
and
on
said,
camera
"Let's
next to
hack
Trump?
Our, the
What's been
United-
hacked?
The Treasury, man. Okay, they must not have any real news on it.
No, nothing has been hacked. Nothing has been hacked.
How do you tell us more about that? How
Okay. Would you like me to tell you? So the Department of Government Efficiency is going into all the different funding data. They're going into all of it, and they're finding hundreds of billions of fraud. Is what they're finding.
They found no fraud.
They found no fraud.
No fraud.
So how old? What's the average age for somebody to live?
Oh, you're talking about the 150 year. That
Oh,
happens.
you even know about the fraud.
Oh, you even know about the fraud.
So paying somebody that's 150 years old Social Security isn't fraud.
You know, well, they're not. How do you know they're paying it?
Because they're in the system.
So what?
What Doge is doing
So
is fine,
what?
but release the actual data.
It is every day.
No,
Yeah, it is. There's
Look at him
literally
licking his
websites.
finger, trying to put his finger in Owen's ear.
You show me the evidence.
These people are gross.
February. Keep saying we found him, and they don't show any evidence. Do a reality television show and show the actual proof.
Yeah.
Line item.
It's
by
happening
line
every
item.
day. Yeah.
Line-
Let's see. Here's your data on Social Security.
My dad.
Here's 1,000 people
Those are
above
numbers.
age 20.
That's not proof. That's just a bunch of numbers listed.
This is literally the Social Security data
A bunch
sheet.
of numbers listed.
This is literally the Social Security data sheet. We're paying over 1,000 people over age 220 Social Security.
So?
So, do you know anybody over 200 years old, sir?
Oh no, that's not true though.
It's not true. See, that's what it is.
That's already been.
It's just not true. Oh, what's wrong with Project
My
2025?
dad works at the internet.
Can you name one thing?
Robin, yes. For starters, the anti-immigrant stance.
Who's anti-immigrant?
Trump's gonna try to troll you.
Wait, how is Trump anti-immigrant? What are you doing out here?
What a bitch. Fucking children.
Why does he hate that photo?
That's your dad.
Is this your litter?
No.
You sure? Because it looks like your litter.
Is that real?
Okay, well, it's not.
He looks like the dude from The
Bunny?
Room.
No.
Sure, so.
Yeah, come on, man.
There you go, buddy.
So you just littered.
See, they love touching you.
So you littered.
But if you dare touch them, oh my god! Oh,
He's also a
the violent right winger.
He's a brainless.
But they're
So what about all the people that aren't elected?
They're cowards.
Should we get rid of anybody who's not elected?
Cowards.
You. What, you don't like Trump?
What's the lie?
Well, he's,
Seriously, this looks like a fucking soup
maybe the
kitchen.
greatest president in modern American history.
I mean,
Think so?
I do, yeah.
Do you? I'm sorry.
oh my god.
I'm sorry for you.
Why?
Because you're deluded.
Hey, man.
How am I deluded?
I'm really starting to think that they just bust in a bunch of homeless people and like gave them a chicken dinner.
Awful person for president.
So what's
Somebody that
awful?
looks awful. Someone that's rude and nasty and has no redeeming
See, and this guy's
Only
following
the
him because he's in
only
all these
Rosie
shots at
O'Donnell.
different
The only
locations.
Rosie O'Donnell. Who's racist?
They gave him 2 chicken dinners for that.
Ignore them. Ignore them.
Who do you think is racist?
Donald Trump.
Why?
You really need me to explain that to you?
Yeah, well, what makes him racist? What has he done that's racist? Can you tell me what you don't like about Doge?
He can't whistle.
You do better than that. There you go.
I can't talk, I can't whistle either, but I don't try. Oh, there you go.
That's much better.
Boy.
Ignore the troll.
You can't ignore me.
Ignore the troll.
It's impossible to ignore me.
Ignore the troll.
So this is what happens in cults, actually.
You know that.
You have people that tell you who you can and can't talk to, and they'll try to stop you from talking to somebody that has a different idea. Yeah. Are you the cult leader?
Thing out of my face.
Are you the cult leader? I will have a very unifying message.
I hope so.
That's why I hope that she would give me the megaphone. I promise my message will be very unifying.
I mean, yeah, we gotta do something about this. Like, you can't really have a serious conversation with these people. These are not serious people. They're all trolling IRL. This is Reddit. Reddit just went to the Capitol.
You want to see what it's like to deal with discrimination and hate?
This is what's behind all these screens. These are the people that troll us and like put community guidelines violations on our videos.
Racist, go home. Let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Did they send us daughters when we asked for sons?
This guy has serial killer vibes.
Go ahead.
That's like the most ginger person I've ever seen. Wow, look at that hair.
First, they came for the immigrants, and I didn't do anything.
Nobody's coming for immigrants. Nobody's coming
Oh,
for
man.
Nobody's coming for immigrants.
Because I'm not mentally disabled.
Nobody's coming for the immigrants.
They came for the far-right grifters, and there's nobody left to fight for me.
This is insane, man.
Totally
So,
delusional.
here's
These
the deal.
people are nuts.
So here's the deal.
Hey, resist tyranny.
So things were getting a little hot in there. The troopers didn't want me to stick around. That's fine. I'm not trying to make their day any harder than it already is dealing with these freak shows.
It's funny because they're using
so
our
they
language.
requested for me to leave that area.
Narcissist and you're sick. Just stop, please.
Go ahead. Here you go. Have the mic.
Stop, man.
See, censorship.
Just give it up.
Okay.
They just want you
Let me
to
be
shut
perfectly
up.
Clear. They are the ones that invited me up there. Yeah. I know. Aren't you glad that you show how...
Whenever
you
it
guys show
says
the
no
world
and
how
then
loving
it's
and tolerant
crossed
you are.
out, that's a double negative. So
I can't
she
wait
likes
till this
Project
footage comes out and
2025.
everybody can see how hate-filled this movement is. So here was the speech I was going to give. Ladies and gentlemen, we are
Department
all
of
Americans.
Gate crashing
And even though we have different points of
expropriators.
view and different ideology,
Look at
you
her
have
with
your
her
First
phone
Amendment
out.
right to be here. I have First Amendment rights to be here. And I think it's time for all of us to have a conversation.
I like her hat,
and we
though.
might find we have more in common than we do different. And we all can agree that there is corruption we all want to get rid of. So let's all come together in peace. First Amendment rights. I support your right to be here. You support my right to be here. I appreciate you letting me speak. We're all Americans. We all want to live in a better future. So let's come together and try to do that.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now,
Feels good to be on the right
Infowars tells you
side,
truth
doesn't it?
about what's happening next.
You're not right, you're left.
Go to the AlexJonesStore.com. Get the very best supplements, the highest quality.
Get the highest quality supplements at thealexjonesstore.com. thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox, and we get 10%, and I greatly appreciate it. I highly suggest you get the Atomic Defense, the CMOS capsules, and the gummies are sold out because that's how good they are. That's my second bottle of those. At InfoWarsStore.com, they have Survival Shield X2 and Brain Force. I don't even get paid by that website, but those you get them. Get them before they sell out, trust me. And then you got, what do we got here? We got the Ultimate Gut Cleanse, and that's another Atomic Defense. If you want to clean out and you want to get nice and lean without really doing anything different, get the Ultimate Gut Cleanse. You'll thank me later. All right. Greg Fernandez Jr. posted Social Security fraud. How old are they? Let's watch.
But look at this. From 90 to 99, Social Security, 6,054,000 people. Well, that's okay. Maybe that's possible. 90 to 99, maybe it's possible. It's a lot of people, though, at that. But people that live to 100 to 109, 4,734,000.
Greg, you need to boost the
wow,
audio on your clips.
That means over 100 years old. They're 4 million people. I don't know.
Actually,
too
a
many.
lot. They're pretty low.
People that are doing great in their 90s, but not too many people over 100.
Oh, no,
but
just kidding.
over 120, from 120 years old, people that are 120 years old up to 129, 3,472,000 people. Wow. That can't possibly be, because the record is like, I think it's one person, a woman, lived to 127, but they have 3,472. Okay, but now we're going really in. People from 130 years old to 139-year-old, 3,936,000. Wow. I wonder if people are getting paid with all this. I mean, are these checks? And that's what we're checking right now. People from 140 years old to 149 years old, 3,542,000, 140 years old. And beyond.
140 years old.
Now we're really going, because we're looking to break the record by 25 years. People from 150 years old to 159 years old, 1,345,000.
This is what they didn't want us to look into.
By the way, these are in the computer files. This is what they do well. They're super. I asked.
These are not real
Elon,
people.
Who
It's
are
just
these
fraud.
Doge people? He said they're super brilliant.
These are
computer
people that probably
and they love the
existed.
country. It's simple.
And
Wait a
then
minute.
they did
people
something
from
with them.
160 years old to 169 years,
They never quite died.
121,000.
They just
So
keep getting paid.
160-year-old people. 170 to
What
179,000,
happens when you get rid of a body?
6,087. But now, let's go
How
into
many
the real
murders are
numbers.
these?
From 200 to
just
209
they died,
years
but
old,
keep getting that
879
paycheck.
people. From 210 years old, I haven't met
We'll
any
just,
of them.
bury them out back.
And if I did, I would bless them. I would worship the ground they walk on. 210 to 219 years,
219 years old.
866. From 220 years old to 229 years old, 1,039. And then you have two people from 240 years old to 249 years old, one person, and there's one person that's 360 years old. That's just that. But
That's
when I saw
older
the
than this. When was
Social
this country
Security
founded?
numbers, I said,
Hold on. 17. Like, how old is the United States? 248 years ago. So that person is over 100 years older than this country. Just checking.
said, wow, that's really something. So we have, let's just go above 100 years old. We have millions and millions of people over 100 years old. Everybody knows that's not so. We have a very corrupt country. Very corrupt country, and it's a sad thing to say, but
maybe the reptilians.
We're figuring it out. Now, the good thing about Social Security,
maybe the people
and
in the
what I
Bible
read
were reptilians.
is if you take all of those numbers off, because they're obviously fraudulent or incompetent, but if you take all of those millions of people off Social Security, all of a sudden we have a very powerful Social Security with people that are 80 and 70 and 90
for 600
but not
years.
200 years old. You know, so it's a very positive thing.
Cain and Abel were up there too, like 400 or something. It kept getting, like, as the dates get closer, they get. Is it because of time dilation? Because how the galaxies are all moving apart, which is what's being shown on the telescopes. Deep State Revolt. Head of DOJ Criminal Division in Washington, D.C. resigns in protest over Trump directive to investigate Biden-era contract and freeze assets. Top federal prosecutor overseeing criminal cases in the U.S. Attorney's Office in Washington, D.C. has abruptly resigned, claiming that Trump-appointed officials insisted she investigate a government contract awarded to during Joe Biden's administration to take decisive action to freeze the recipient's assets. Denise Chung, the office's now former criminal chief, submitted her resignation on Tuesday in a letter to interim U.S. Attorney Ed Martin. When I started as an AUSA, I took an oath of office to support and defend the Constitution, and I have executed this duty faithfully during my tenure, which has spanned through numerous administrations, Chung wrote in her email obtained by far-left CNN. I love the Gateway Pundit. Link in description. Disabling parts of the brain with magnets can weaken faith in God and change attitudes to immigrants, study finds. Now, this is from 2015, but they brought this up on the American Journal. I didn't know about this, so let's go take a look. Hey, Doge, get back to work! By shutting down the threat process center of the brain, scientists weakens people's faith in God and made them less prejudiced. Now, it's interesting because prejudice is a loaded word because, like, you are prejudiced if you like a certain kind of cereal. But it can also mean other things. A joint team of American and British scientists have discovered that powerful magnetic pulses to the brain can temporarily change people's feeling on a variety of subjects, from their belief in God to their attitude towards immigration. Attitude to immigration? I just don't like it. Towards. The study, published in the Journal of Social, Cognitive, and Affective Neuroscience, saw scientists use a metal coil to create strong magnetic fields around certain parts of the brain. The non-invasive practice is called transcranial magnetic stimulation and can be used to treat depression. I'm not crazy, right? This is an article that hasn't been spell checked since 2015, and now it's off of my screen. Illegal border crossings plummeted in January from whitehouse.gov. Illegal immigration in the southern border plummeted in January amid President Donald J. Trump's return to office and immediate crackdown. Call it the Trump effect. Apprehensions along with southwestern border plummeted in January. According to newly released data from the Customs and Border Patrol Protection, just 61,465 illegal aliens were apprehended at the southern border during the entire month of January, a 36% decline from the previous month. That's significant. The number includes 29,116 apprehended along the border, the lowest since May 2020, and 32,349 at ports of entry. Good. If you're trying to cross over illegally into the United States. Oh, man. You thought I broke the camera, didn't you? Fact sheet. President Donald J. Trump requires transparency for the American people about wasteful spending. Promoting transparency and accountability. Today, Donald J. Trump signed a memorandum requiring radical transparency regarding wasteful spending of taxpayer dollars by the federal government. It requires all departments and agencies to disclose details about the terminated programs and canceled contracts and discontinued grants to the fullest extent allowed by the law. The COVID Genocide Primer, John Bound reports.
In the wake of the explosive interview with Dr. David Martin, where he exposed the premeditated nature of this so-called pandemic, the truth is being unleashed.
The best thing anybody listening to this can do right now is actually recognize that when you are told there is an emergency of international concern, remember that that is now code word for the preservation of tyrannical reach into the suppression of individual liberties. That's all it is.
So we'll have to prepare for the next one.
Another pandemic will come.
For pandemics, we need new tools. Things like environmental surveillance needs to be done on a constant basis so we're never caught off guard again. That's absolutely necessary to avoid the difficulties of the next pandemic. So in the next 5 to 10 years, for the next pandemic, and it won't be the last pandemic, the next one could be far more severe.
Back in 2016, before President Trump even took office, Bill Gates was already cooking up the SARS-CoV-2 storm. He had his master plan in place by 2017, announcing it with Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum, just days before President Trump's first term began. Anthony Fauci, the front man for Gates, manipulated the FDA to change the rules for emergency use authorization so Big Pharma could rush their dangerous experimental mRNA and DNA vaccines without proper testing. Operation Warp Speed was their Trojan horse in January of 2020, but the groundwork had been laid years earlier. Moderna's CEO admitted at the World Economic Forum in 2025 that they had 100,000 doses ready in 2019 because they knew this was coming.
When the pandemic happened, Moderna had made 100,000 doses in 2019 for the whole year. And I remember walking after Davos into the office of my head of manufacturing, and I say, how we make 1 billion doses next year? And he looked at me a bit funny, say, what? I say, yeah, we need to make 1 billion doses next year. There's going to be a pandemic.
So if ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine were declared effective treatment for SARS-CoV-2, it would have invalidated the vaccine. The vaccines would not have been allowed to get an EUA.
These mRNA and DNA vaccines never got full FDA approval. They're still under EUA, even with tens of thousands of deaths reported to VAERS. Fauci, with Gates' backing, funded gain-of-function research, creating viruses in labs that don't exist in nature, and handed millions to the Wuhan Institute of Virology in communist China.
We've known for a while that Dr. Fauci used NIH funding to finance bat coronavirus research at the Wuhan Institute of Virology, but it took the watchdog White Coat Waste Project to expose evidence that USAID was funding it too.
The Gates Foundation, through their CEPI, or Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, started raising billions in 2017, promising investors a sure shot pandemic. This was part of a coordinated effort with the World Health Organization, which is essentially a puppet for the CCP, to roll out this bioweapon named COVID-19, a part of China's unrestricted warfare strategy against the U.S. The virus itself eliminating as high as 18 million worldwide. The COVID vaccine mortality numbers have been a guarded secret by the insurance companies, the CDC, FDA, and Mockingbird Media. But we can start at 20 million and begin the true investigation.
70% are long vax, not long COVID, meaning all of their issues, the syndromes, started after the vaccine, not COVID. The vast majority are long vax. And so the only disease that's recognized in this country is long COVID. All the academic medical centers, they have these little long COVID clinics.
That's the Great Awakening
vaccine
instead
injury
of
clinics.
the Great
It's
Reset.
long COVID clinics. So there's this constant burying of the role of the vaccine in what's befallen society.
Well, why? I mean, that's so evil that it's hard to believe it's happening.
It threatens so much.
Why did we create a vaccine that reproduces the most pathogenic component of the virus? Why not the nucleocapsid? Why not the whole virus? Why do we keep pushing on spike? It's insane.
And once that investigation is completed, the history books will detail how the COVID-19 rollout was a premeditated global genocide for profit and control. John Bound reporting for Infowars.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Let's arrest Fauci already, huh? Someone else we should arrest is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, better known as AOC, under investigation for illegal migrant video.
Mark, I'm going to put you on speaker. Those are not warrants of arrest, sir.
Yes, they are, sir. Warrant of arrest of alien.
Yeah, warrant of arrest of alien not signed by a judge. It's not a judicial warrant. I have no obligation to oblige by that warrant.
This is a lawful warrant.
Signed by a judge?
Of the Immigration and Nationality Act. And an official designated with that authority.
Are you hearing this, Mark? Yeah,
I'll tell him I'm on my way.
Our attorney's on his way.
Okay. What's that gonna...
That's not a warrant.
That is a warrant.
No, it's not. It's a Department of Homeland Security order.
It's a warrant.
Okay. No, it's not a warrant. It's not a warrant under the Constitution of the United States.
It's a warrant under the Immigration and Nationality Act of the United States.
Okay, that's fine, but it's not under the Constitution. You have no jurisdiction over me as a citizen. I'm the driver of this vehicle.
Okay, are you familiar with Title 8, Section 1324 of U.S. Code?
Somewhat.
Somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
In what regard?
I'm studying to be a Department of Justice accredited representative, so I've been through trainings.
Okay.
And I have copies of actually, in this box right here, I have a copy of a real warrant and a copy of that, just so people know not to listen to that.
Okay. So you're aware of the statutes governing transporting and harboring illegal aliens in the United States?
I am.
Okay.
And, okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
Alexa, play gas.
I want to look at your dog. Bring back my lower third. And I'm back. So, apparently, Border Czar Tom Homan suggested that Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is being investigated by the Department of Justice for potentially impeding immigration law. Ocasio-Cortez hosted a live webinar on Wednesday advising migrants in her congressional district about the right if they come into contact with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, agents looking to deport them. Impediment is impediment, in my opinion, Homan told Fox News, as he questioned whether her behavior was crossing the line. Asylum is a right, she says. Trump made strict immigration measures a core component of his return to the White House, along with carrying out mass deportations. His second-term administration has vowed to prosecute anyone who impedes their immigration enforcement operations. Just like Barack Obama, just like Bill Clinton, just like all these other Democrats, historically, look it up. We covered it like 5 episodes ago. So watch all of them. What are you trying to hide, Norm? Any of that money happen to reach your pockets? Elon Musk calls out Norm Eisen? Hatchet man of the shadow government to overthrow Trump. What is he hiding? So Norm says Musk is acting like he runs the U.S. government, but the Constitution does not allow an unelected super president. We're taking him and Doge to court to impose consequences. Good luck. Ah, yes, more Tom Homan. Tom Homan slaps down AOC's fiery social media spat after she helps migrants evade ICE.
Heard you talking about AOC over the weekend. Do you believe she is breaking the law?
I'll leave that up to DOJ. What I find disturbing is that any member of Congress wants to educate people how to evade law enforcement. You can claim you're educating those
what? No.
Constitutional rights, okay, you can keep that claim. What's she in fact doing? Telling people don't open your door, hide in your home, don't talk to ICE. We're talking about people who are in the country illegally, committed a crime, they're a public safety threat, they've been convicted of serious crime, and they've been ordered removed by a federal judge. So it's like AOC and others don't want ICE to enforce the laws that they enacted. She's a member of Congress. Let us enforce the laws you enacted. That's what we're supposed to do.
You can't go after her. Do you think others should?
No, I think I've asked DOJ, where's that line of impediment, of interference? Now, if someone stands in your way, prevents you from arresting somebody, put your hands on it, that's impediment. But what line is telling people to hide from ICE, not open the door? Where do you cross that line on impediment? So I've simply asked the Department of Justice, give us that line.
You have talked to them about this. That's what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Wow.
All right.
President Donald Trump capped an epic Sunday tweet storm in which he rails against the Mueller probe by announcing he will ask the Justice Department to investigate whether his 2016 campaign was spied on while his predecessor, Barack Obama, was in office, writing, quote, "I hereby demand and will do so officially tomorrow that the Department of Justice look into whether or not the FBI/DOJ infiltrated or surveilled the Trump campaign for political purposes. And if any..."
Anyway, I was curious. We're doing it live. Get back to work, Doge. Oh, look at this. That worked out perfectly. Obama's ethics czar led to the color revolution behind the 2020 U.S. election and then bragged about it. Deep State revealed. Hey, where's the video? Just put the video at the top. Am I right? Yeah. Whatever. We're running long. Yep. There's the tweet for that. The Logan Act. I wanted to cover this a little bit. If you're not familiar, link in the description right here from congress.gov. Don't get it anywhere else. The Logan Act, an overview of a sometimes forgotten 18th century law, January 12th, 2018. Get this a little bigger here. The Logan Act, which has been the subject matter of much recent debate, generally makes it illegal for U.S. citizens to engage in unauthorized diplomacy with foreign countries with intent to influence the citizens to engage in, influence the measures of conduct. So, of a foreign government or to defeat the measures of the United States. Prosecutors have only brought 2 Logan Act indictments since its enactment, neither of which has led to conviction. As stated by one commentator, the act has been called a dead letter, an anachronism, a conviction, as stated by one commentator. Yeah. Curious federal antique. But it's still on the books. So that's a legal sidebar there. Lawyers say Muskegon, Michigan election fraud scandal could allow DOJ to unpack 2020 voter fraud. On election night 2020, Trump was winning throughout the night. It was top re-election campaign. It was a tough re-election campaign. Well, the media lies and interference into the election helped support Joe Biden was in full force, but Republicans felt as though they were going to be poised to replicate the stunning victory in 2016. Yeah, okay. Votes for sale. Progressive Democrats say Muslim use voter fraud to secure power in Michigan, from Project Veritas.
I hope with all the shit going on with the all Muslim council, whatever here, that there wasn't hanky-panky in that election.
Absolutely was. The absentee ballots are being filled out in people's dining rooms by the candidates.
These guys go door to door and they take people's ballots. They pull them and they give them their ballots over.
Bangladeshi did it. Started doing it. Oh yeah, they started before the Yemeni.
They go around the neighborhood with the AB applications, and they have people sign the application. Then they put candidates to drop them all off at City Hall. Then they know when they go out, they go back to the person's house and say, sign the envelope, give me the ballot. They're harvesting. That's what they did.
Project Veritas journalists have been on the ground in the city of Hamtramck, Wayne County, Michigan. Hamtramck is Michigan's most densely populated city. It's also the only Muslim majority city in America, and the first city in America to have an all-Muslim city council and a Muslim mayor. That would be crazy though if like all this bullshit happened and they cheated.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna happen. They probably didn't cheat enough to change the election, but they could have, and there's no way to tell.
You need these people's votes, right? So who's gonna, say brown-skinned people are, doing election fraud?
Our investigation started in 2023 when the pride flag was first banned from being displayed on public property.
The flag issue was a war, now it's a battle. There's a bigger war. Yeah. Okay, there are a lot of things going on here.
We feel betrayed by the Muslim community because of how much sort of we take.
Do you think they're cheating? Like a friend of mine said that the elections? Yeah,
absolutely.
But what we found were shocking allegations of voter fraud, including intimidation, coercion, bribery, ballot harvesting, and even midnight meetings where the ballots are auctioned off to the highest bidder.
They hire black people to go to black houses. They hire Bangladeshi people to go to Bangladeshi houses. The black people, they pay them for their ballots.
Voter fraud happens in small ethnic communities where someone is more assimilated, they can run the show. They can intimidate.
And so you think that's what happened here?
Oh, it is what happened here. It's happening to Bengali and Yemen.
So then they get together late at night. They joke and they call it like the midnight meetings. And then they auction them. They bid for them.
They auction for ballots.
Yeah.
Then they auction them. Did you hear that?
Did you ever feel like you were ballot harvested out of office?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm absolutely positive that happened.
We know who's doing it, and there's an attorney general's office on it. I got 3 people busted back in 2013.
I know that there's an investigation going on. Nestle's been involved, and I think the feds are involved.
You say the authorities, either the feds or whoever, are investigating the city council. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Investigating voter fraud. This has always been, a strongly progressive city. It's like we've welcomed everyone here, even those who, would not have welcomed us necessarily.
Right. Meaning if the roles were reversed.
Yeah.
The council.
And the roles have been reversed.
Meet Karen Majewski, who served as Hamtramck's first woman mayor from 2005 to 2021, the year she was defeated by her Yemeni challenger Amir Ghalib, who himself was historically swept into office as Hamtramck's first Muslim mayor, along with America's first all-Muslim city council. As the consequences of those elections continue to be felt, locals now fear their once welcoming LGBTQ sanctuary may be lost forever due to the policies of their newly emboldened all-Muslim leadership. Is the council so far remaining moderate? Because like the family...
Oh, no, they are not. They are not moderate. The newest thing is on Tuesday, they passed a resolution divesting of all investment in Israel.
Breaking news right now out of Hamtramck. City Council amended a resolution that would ban the pride flag from being flown on city-owned property.
Palestine Avenue. It's the new name for Holbrook here in Hamtramck.
That's the Islamic call to prayer. It blasts out 5 times a day throughout the streets of Hamtramck, Michigan.
Hamtramck residents are sounding off after City Council passed an ordinance allowing religious animal slaughter.
We're kind of a bellwether here for the whole process of immigration and accommodation and cultural diversity that really is the future of the United States.
Majewski's been featured on CNN, Fox News,
Karen
PBS, and others,
Majewski,
but
really?
only Project Veritas undercover journalists captured on camera her never heard before allegations of voter fraud within the Bangladeshi and Yemeni communities of Hamtramck that threatens free and fair elections now and in the future.
We have a serious, I mean that's been going on for 20 years, basically, absentee ballot problem.
Here.
Oh yeah. And, it's been investigated. The government won't touch it.
And there's, heavy duty, those absentee ballots, again, this is another thing that you can't say out loud.
But it's...
The absentee ballots are being filled out in people's dining rooms by the candidates.
They sit around the kitchen table and they, and then, yeah, it's complete, yeah. Oh, yeah.
They fill out the ballots.
Yeah. The Bangladeshi started doing it. Oh, yeah, they started before the Yemeni.
Yeah, so this thing's 15 minutes long. Link in the description. Man, I got a lot more going on here. Transportation, I'm just going to read headlines because it's 9/16, so. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy demolishes Pete Buttigieg, or Buttigieg, with a perfect reply after Buttigieg slyly tries to blame the Trump administration for recent airline disasters. Blah, blah, blah. It's petty. Musk Doge team finds Social Security beneficiaries older than America. Yeah, got that. Doge finds 4.7 trillion virtually untraceable treasury payments. Trump shares poll showing Representative Byron Donalds way up in the race for Florida governorship. I don't know much about him. I'm going to look into him. But Byron Donaldson dominates Republican primary field for governor of Florida, according to this chart. More charts. Charts with charts. Chart. Pardon J6er, Barry Ramsey gets standing ovation, speaks to Americans on primaries while facing new health expenses and leering debt. Senior DOJ prosecutor quits after being told to investigate Biden climate spending. Able child, another psychiatric drug murder in Wyoming. Sad. People don't understand how mental illness isn't a willpower thing. It's chemical imbalances in your brain. One sentence sums up perfectly why America is suffering from alleged mental health crisis. It's a decade of misinformation and fraud. It must end. It's true. Greater Ohio movement gains steam as Oregon counties vote to secede.
Proposal in Oregon would bribe the homeless to stay out on the streets by paying them $1,000 per month. This is one of the many factors propelling the Greater Idaho movement, with 11 conservative counties in Oregon attempting to secede the state and join Idaho. Idaho State Representative Barbara Ehart joins us now. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, thanks for coming on. Yeah, this is going to make even more people in Oregon want to move to your state. How do you feel about that?
You know, this has been an interesting experience from the very beginning when I was approached about just listening to a conversation, just over 2 years ago. It made sense right away. It made sense to look at some like-minded people and also For us in Idaho, why not have that conversation? We've been the fastest growing state in the nation. We have, a lot of people moving in here to look at that landmass, to look at the resources, the water, the timber, the minerals. Why not have that conversation? And on top of it, we look at what's happening to Eastern Oregon. They do not share the same values as those who are passing and making these decisions. These decisions are completely antithetical to a constitutional republic. It's really kind of disappointing.
Do both states have to agree to this?
Yes, both states would have to agree to this, and then if
that report is 5 minutes and 11 seconds, if you care to delve more into it, by Pete Hegseth, to launch full investigation of Biden's botched Afghanistan withdrawal. Accountability will be coming. Things are happening. Massive fraud uncovered. Foreign rings steal billions from the U.S. taxpayers. Yeah. I don't know if you'll look at that. Some talking heads there. Oh yeah, that video wouldn't play, so I have it on the edge. Queued up for you. More talking heads. But this one is Catholic leader John Henry Weston. Podesta emails must be released, may contain damning information on Pope Francis and his rise to power.
Already in 2022, Archbishop Vigano had issued this, and Vigano is the one to know. Remember, before he came to the U.S. as the representative of the Vatican in the United States, he was in charge of overseeing internal operations at the Vatican itself. He was particularly noted there for his rooting out of financial corruption, which got him into trouble, which got him moved. Now, we already knew that right before Benedict retired, the SWIFT banking system shut down. Right after he resigned, it started working again. We also knew that the Podesta emails happened in 2012, right before. Remember, right now, we're in that time. Benedict gave his resignation on February 11th, and then it was official on February 28th. So we're right at this time of year in the midst of that time. And here, Vigano calls now for an investigation by the CIA, basically the releasing of documents. If they're going to release the Epstein files, they can at least release this. And as Liz just said, you will undermine the papacy of Francis, this nightmare for the whole church. If it could be shown that Benedict was forced to resign under pressure, that would invalidate his resignation and therefore invalidate the Francis papacy. So this whole joke of a papacy, which has so destroyed the Catholic Church in a way that was unfathomable before, would just be a blip, and people would understand, oh, that was fake. I thought so because it was so horrible. Otherwise, there's almost no way of understanding this papacy in light of Catholic teaching. But think about the timeline. You have the SWIFT banking system go down just before, reinstated just after Benedict resigns. You have the Podesta emails coming out in 2012 saying that, yeah, this is why we got these two fake Catholic groups going, Catholic United and the other group, so that there could be a Catholic springtime. And of course, Podesta, as the chief of staff to Clinton, as the counselor to Biden, he was the running Hillary's campaign, and then even under Biden, he's involved in the climate change office. Also, remember right at the time when Benedict would have been considering his resignation, you had that Italian Panorama report about the NSA, the U.S. National Security Agency, listening in to Vatican conversations and emails and so on. That dropped from Panorama, showing that the NSA was involved in listening to the Vatican, what they were doing. And that's why Vigano is coming out now saying release the files. Yeah.
Steve Bannon does look a little bit like David Lynch. Good catch. Data Battle Z! Yep. He's doing good. Hey, it looks good. Looks sharp. I don't know. SPLC Antifa associate desperately attacks Tom Homan, Terry Newsom, and the Gateway pundit leading up to local Illinois election. Yeah, boy. Illinois Democratic staffers fired for callous and reprehensible tweets mocking Waukesha Christmas parade massacre by comparing it to Kyle Rittenhouse, saying it was probably just self-defense. Yeah, that's kind of funny. Former RNC chair Michael Steele suffering from severe Trump derangement syndrome. Trump has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, who says to him, "You're not the president. He got it from his daddy."
What are what would you have us do?
I would actually, you know what? I'd just like you to show that you give a damn, that you got a little emotion about the fact that people are losing their jobs indiscriminately, that this individual sitting down the 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue has given absolute power to one man who brings his son into the Oval Office, whose son says to him, "You're not the president. You shouldn't be in that chair." Now, where did he get that from? He got it from his daddy, because that's what his daddy thinks is the man who brought him into the Oval Office. So I just like to see somebody wake the hell up and get excited about the fact that your country is under assault. They're not at the gate anymore. They're in your bedrooms. They're in your living rooms. They're in your businesses. They got your data, dumbass. They got all your stuff. Elon Musk has his tentacles in everything you're doing, not just off of X.
He's like clipping
but
his
now
young
he's in the
son.
Treasury Department. He's in the Labor Department. He's in the Department of Homeland Security. And nobody seems to give a damn. So that's all I want, somebody to show that they care enough to get off their fat ass and say something about it.
But let's be honest. What are
Spicy. I wanted to end today's episode on something a little nice. You have to continue watching it next.
Three minutes to the biggest battle of our professional lives. All comes down to today. Either we heal as a team, or we're going to crumble. Inch by inch, play by play, till we're finished. We're in hell right now.
You take on the intelligence community, they have 6 ways from Sunday at getting back at you.
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Government's going to kill this guy.
You have to admire that, Trump, after getting shot with blood streaming down his face, was fist pumping, fight.
Yep.
After being shot, and he's brave. He has courage. This is instinctual courage.
Yeah. We can stay here, get the shit kicked out of us, or we can fight our way back into the light. We can climb out of hell. 1 inch at a time. Now, I can't do it for you. I'm too old. The inches we need are everywhere around us. Hell yeah. They're in every break of the game, every minute, every second. On this team, we fight for that inch. On this team, we tear ourselves and everyone else around us to pieces for that inch. We claw with our fingernails for that inch. Because we know when we add up all those inches, that's gonna make the fucking difference between winning and losing. Between living and dying. I'll tell you this, in any fight, it's the guy who's willing to die who's gonna win that inch. And I know if I'm gonna have any life anymore, it's because I'm still willing to fight and die for that inch. Because that's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face. Now, I can't make you do it. You gotta look at the guy next to you. Look into his eyes. Now, I think you're gonna see a guy who will go that inch with you. You're gonna see a guy who will sacrifice himself for this team because he knows when it comes down to it, you're going to do the same for him. That's a team, gentlemen. And either we heal now as a team,
I love Tulsi.
or we will die.
What a badass.
As individuals.
How can you not like her?
Now, what are you going to do?
The globalists thought they defeated it.
If you're on X, follow us at Sacred Owls Unite. If you're on Rumble, it's DarkDox. If you're on BitChute, it's DarkDox. Please scan this barcode and give me money. Please. And that's today's show. I hope you like NPC. We do this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at youtube.com/Sacred Owls. Time to go out to the outer space. Doge needs to get back to work because it's time to come back to SeaWorlds. And in this episode, I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you on Wednesday.
Welcome to the February 18th, 2025 Tuesday edition of the DarkDox Digest with your host, Christian Coffins.
DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest. If you value this program, donate what you can at cash.app/DarkDox. DarkDox Digest. DarkDox Digest.